Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros MLB. This is the live Q&A. It is me, Joey P. Joe Pisapia. With me, of course, is the Welsh, and this is where you get to have your voice heard. That's what everybody wants, just to be heard at the end of the day. So ask your questions, and if you want a super chat, guess what? You go right to the front of the queue, and you can have your voice heard the loudest of anybody right away when you super chat here. Welsh, we got a lot of news to talk about, a lot of questions to answer, a lot of things going on. Transactions abound. And let's start with a super chat right at the top. Michael Jensen, friend of the show. Is it time to look to move on from Yelich? Over for today. And he's averaged under the Euchre line. I like that. The Euchre line. I miss Bob Euchre. The world is not as good of a place without Bob Euchre. I think I can say that easily.
There's a lot of people I feel like others will say that about, but there really is a small grouping of like we miss people and stuff like that. And there are
Bob
greats
Uecker
of the world, but like there are people that the world is just not quite as great without. Yeah. He's definitely one of them, especially the baseball world.
Just talking about Yelich, you and I off air, which is hilarious. This is the first question and a super chat right at the top of the show.
We were doing the waiver show, and I was like looking through to see if there were any other guys, and I'm going through and I'm like, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like,
well, he stinks.
Who the hell did Yelich only hit 190? When did that happen? And he's hitting 186 after today so far. I had no idea, not looking at that, he had gotten so bad, Joe.
Well, I think that what happens is you end up, you have shares of players, you don't have shares of players. And as the season goes on, there's just so much going on that some things just slip through the cracks. And I think Yelich is one of them. And it's funny, you talk about the counting stats, right? So 47 games, 7 homers, 26 RBI. So he's on pace for basically a 75-75 season with, about 20 home runs. And he's got 8 stolen bases. So that's not terrible, but the batting average is killing you. So I think you want to bench him. I don't think anyone's going to give you something for him that's useful. I think that's kind of the rock and a hard place you're at with Yelich. But he's an interesting buy low from that perspective of he's giving you power, he's giving you productivity. The whole Milwaukee team, I think, is kind of just in a funk, really. I think that it's not going to turn around until all the pitching comes up. And, Henderson's been good, Woodruff coming soon, Mizorowski coming soon. I just think that they're a second half team, so I'd want Yelich in the second half. But Welsh, I don't know, to Michael's question, I think you just bench him. I don't want to drop him necessarily because of the power and the speed.
No, I can't drop Yelich. Look in here. I mentioned this on leading off today, and it'll probably over the next couple of weeks, we'll start to bring it up more. And I might do some individual live streams breaking down. But Baseball Savant dropped a kind of a new swing because we've had like the swing, speed. We've had bad speed. We get to see like how their approach is at the plate. And now we have like attack angles. And all of these things together, I think really help piece together the puzzle of like when we're trying to figure out players. So, the first element is I'll look at like barrel and hard hit. His barrel's low, his hard hit's up. Then you're going to look at like, quality of contact, zone contact is up, but the overall quality has struggled. And then you go try to look at some other extracurricular things. What is he not doing? Well, he is attacking. The attack angle of where he hits the ball is where it needs to be, but he's not pulling the ball. And he's massively struggling against fastballs. Only almost 100-point differential between what he's hitting and what the expected batting average is. So you can also see that his launch angle sweet spot, another kind of goofy metric, but it's telling you like, are they hitting the ball in the way that they're able to lift the ball in the air? Well, guess what? He's got a negative launch angle right now. So all of these things tell me he's attacking at the same point. He's not barreling. He has a negative launch angle, and he's underperforming against fastballs. So if he just makes that correction, he's going to start getting the ball in the air more, which will then in turn allow him to start pulling the ball. And then he's going to be able to bounce his batting average back up. Expected batting average is 236, 50 points higher than he is. Track record tells us a whole lot. Listen, I just threw out a bunch of things for you, but I guess what at the end of the day, I'm looking for is like, I'm looking for some data points that tell me they can bounce back if I'm not going to just bank on track record. And I think there are some like significantly weird things in the game that are fixable.
Yeah.
But we could also look at this in 2 months and be like, holy crap, like he's still not doing anything, but he has a negative 0.5 launch angle. Probably going to change once the quality of contact kicks back up.
You would hope so. But yeah, Yelich is just not the same guy. He had a window there for about a year and a half where he was spectacular. And then the back issues just kind of, I feel like they just kind of zapped him.
Dude, the back issues with some of the great
$5 worth Michael, on that explanation from.
Oh yeah, I know. Sorry. Well, it was in you.
That'll
just happened
conclude
to
our Q&A for the day. I hope everybody enjoyed the show here, Fantasy Pros MLB.
How though? Like you knew this was going to happen when you saw it, because like I literally, prior to us getting off, I was looking.
I know we were already in it.
Opportunity to look at it, and I see all these like weird data points. So it did definitely get a lot. But you got your money's worth. And Michael is kind of always a rock star. He has supported the channel.
Yeah.
The live chat we've done.
Support the channel by subscribing to Fantasy Pros MLB, dropping your comments below, and you might win yourself a Jose Ramirez autographed jersey from pristineauction.com.
Hey.
Father's Day right around the corner. Some great stuff there, Pristine Auction. Go check it out. So how do you win this? Subscribe, drop a comment, ring the bell till it goes ding for notifications, and boom, bang, just like that, the Jose Ramirez jersey could be yours. Let's go to another from Thunder Stud. Welcome back, Joey P. That's right, I wasn't here last Wednesday. I forgot. They
didn't.
Time goes quickly here in the Matrix. Henderson, Horton, Birdsong, Zeb. There can be only one in a 16-team dynasty. Ooh, who do I want long-term? This is really interesting here. I've got to think about environment. I've got to think about the organization that has a good track record of breeding good young pitchers and sustaining them. That organization is not the Cubs. Birdsong is intriguing. Zebby has not been good so far in the major league level. You know what? I'm going to live in prisoner of the moment and say Logan Henderson, because he's come up and he's been the same guy he was at AAA, and Milwaukee's done a pretty good job over the years, whether it was Corbin Burns or Peralta, Woodruff, bringing these guys along. So I'm going to go with Henderson. I like the stability of the Brewers here. Where are you going to go of all these guys?
I think if I were ranking this, it would go Horton, Zebby, Henderson, Birdsong, all very close, all very, very close to each other. Cade Horton, to me, probably has like the highest prospect pedigree of stuff. And we saw some significant changes this year with health in AAA. He's not striking out a bunch, but he has a 0% walk rate so far. His expected ERA is around 3. He's got kind of a runway. I think Zebby is, I can't even put a separating point between them, actually. Like, they're just all a big clump. Like, I'm not going to kill you if you pick any of those guys, but I think from like a long-term perspective, it's Horton. If you are looking and you want to be prisoner of the now, it actually might be Logan Henderson, but it's between those two, I think, if you're going at it. And maybe I'll be wrong because Birdsong's at the bottom of this list, but you know, he just jumped into the rotation and looked really good. All very, very good choices. Maybe you got someone else that's just stinking up the bottom of the joint, and maybe we can pick up 2.
It's 16 teams. Like, I want all these guys. Like,
yeah, me too. How are they available too in a 16-team dynasty?
I'm guessing maybe, that's the other weird thing. Like that, I don't see how, but maybe just try to understand. Maybe he's trying to make a trade for one of them. He's saying, okay, of these guys, who's the target or the one I want the most?
Oh, maybe that's a good point.
Could be that logic. I'm just trying to think though. Over the years, trying to think of great Cubs pitchers from within the organization. Well,
Justin Steele,
great. Justin Steele is very good.
Pretty good.
I think you got to go back to the Kerry Wood, Mark Pryor days, but that didn't work out. That's the last time I think.
Well, they were great until, I mean, okay, Cubs have a bad track record of injuries and keeping them healthy.
Yeah, but that goes and stems from organization too. You know, certain organizations just have a better track. Yeah, well, that was a long. That's
okay. Well, I mean, you went back to Kerry Wood. I
didn't think that was so far back for some of the kids out there watching, but you know, you went back to Greg Maddux. I mean, geez, that's my.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying you're picking out, like, you're getting very specific about. I said, like, I think it's not arguable that Justin Steele was like a really good pitcher. Like, do you need Hall of Famer when you say great? Like, what is it you need?
Somebody who is
Brandon Woodruff, great.
As a
Freddie Peralta, great.
Corbin Burns, great. Freddie Peralta, pretty solid. I mean, back-to-back big strikeout years.
Justin Steele and Peralta are pretty even.
Justin Steele has not had a full season like Freddie Peralta yet. Sorry. I love Justin Steele, but he has not given you a full season of what Peralta's
The real answer would be the Twins, by the way. The Twins, look what they've done with
Joe Ryan and Pablo Lopez. Gave me pause, but Zebby's gotten his butt beat around the ballpark quite a bit. Let's go to Sean with another super chat's alive today. Let's go,
baby.
Sean S. Cruz on the IL. Womp womp. Is he droppable in a 12-team roto? IL spots are taken, or is there enough promise in the last 2 weeks to hold? Nope, I drop him. I'm good.
They brought up Robert Hassel. I don't know if Hassel is just a stopgap. I don't know how bad this is. Plus, Cruz has been really bad. I think you can dump him.
Yeah.
I would go pick up Hassel.
The whole thing's a big hassle.
Yeah.
Jeff wants to know, Eovaldi for Jose Ramirez. Did I win this trade? Look, Eovaldi's been terrific, but if you're getting Jose Ramirez, you won the trade. So,
what are we talking about? Jose
Also,
Ramirez. What trade for you? If singular players, we could maybe on our hand say this is a bad trade singularly for Jose Ramirez. Judge, Ohtani, Carroll, Ellie, Bobby Witt.
Oh, I don't even know if Ellie is.
That's it. Okay, maybe not even Ellie, but that's 5. Is there anybody else you put on that where you're like, ooh, that's a bad trade for Jose Ramirez?
No, I don't think so. Agustin, Ramirez, and Pagan for Emmanuel Clase. Thoughts? I want the Clase side.
Yeah, you're just.
Wow.
He traded Ramirez. What are you, 2-team league?
Jeff, I want to be in this league. That's where I want to be. Let's get to Lee G's question here. I have an offer for Gallen for Bubba. Who do you like better rest of season? I hate giving up Bubba, but he's really.
You cut out there for a second, Joey. I don't know if you're still there.
Sorry, I was lowering because children are being loud. And
okay, right at the. we don't hear them. I don't think we hear them.
Oh, that's good. I can hear them in my ears because my microphone and everything will pick everything up. So
I don't
the disrespect is just immense.
I mean, believe me, man. Just they're out here with the dogs are eating hats and just crying around out here. It's a Robert Hassel for sure. Robert Hassel the third. It's a third Hassel. This is a tough one because I am not as much of a believer in Gallen, and I've been pretty dang vocal about that all season. Trading Bubba to get him, Bubba is just never coming up. I see where they're going with that, but I think the juice on Bubba could actually maybe get you someone a tiny bit higher. Maybe I'm not being realistic with it, and maybe he really is going to be a little bit better than I'm giving him credit for. But I think at this point, Gallen's a 4 ERA guy, 10 wins. Inconsistencies of up and down. Maybe you don't get more of that from Bubba, but it seems kind of lateral-ish for a veteran. So I kind of don't think I would do it.
You know, my answer is you have to be more patient. If you don't like this trade for Gallen, you have to wait till the middle of June. And when Bubba Chandler's getting called up, put him on the block again.
Yeah. You mean in August when he's called up? They brought up Mike Burrows this week instead of Bubba still.
I told you, it's just Super 2. So look, we're looking mid-June is 3 weeks away. Give or take. Right? Give or take. So we're getting close here. If you don't want to wait and you need more help, you take Gallen. Otherwise, you wait 3 weeks and see. Now, you're running a risk of Bubba being delayed or injured or anything can happen between now and then.
Sure.
So I don't think it's a bad value, but I think it's one that you know, at the end of the day, it's if it's not up to what you want in return, you have to be a little bit more patient.
You gotta believe in Gallen if you're doing it, and you
gotta really believe in Gallen.
He had a 5.08 ERA in April and a 4.56 in May. It's just a handful of starts that have been okay. The rest have been pretty blah.
You don't see everyone just using a real name. I like Harry Brooks. Harry Brooks is a real man here. Just like, you know what? I'm not going to be like P-Dog 74. I'm not going to be like just Harry Brooks.
Like, hello, my name's Harold Brooks, but you can call me Harry, my good friend.
Well, I like to be informal. Should I drop any of Lodolo, Weathers, or Garrett Williams for Eury Perez?
I would drop Weathers for Perez.
I would too. That was my answer. So there you go. On the same page. Look at us. Is Julio Urias worth stashing? No. That's going to be the easiest
for
question.
Your prison fantasy league? Well, for what? Julio Urias will never play in baseball again. I mean,
is that too soon? I can't make fun of the eye thing with Julio Urias.
No, you can do that. I mean,
he seems like a bad guy, so I feel like I can make fun of him. Like, seems like a pretty awful person.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I got to be honest with you. What is he doing? Is he like playing in Mexico
in the California Penal League
prison right now? Let's see.
What year is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's on the Trevor Bauer type of band. Like, he's not coming back into baseball. Yuri's not coming.
The Trevor Bauer thing, like, you know what? We shouldn't even get into it.
The reason they're asking, though, is because technically Julio Urias is eligible to come off of his very long suspension in July. And I think that's why it's being brought up.
Well, the Dodgers are pitching needy, but I don't know if they want to go that route. You know, this is the same organization that got rid of Trevor Bauer. Let's not.
You were just about to do a whole Bauer thing, and then you were just like, you know
what? Well, my Bauer thing is this, which is like, okay, so the guys that get suspended, they get other chances and stuff like that. Like, I'm not condoning Trevor Bauer, but like, it just seems inconsistent to me. It's like
baseball is a long tenured history of being completely inconsistent and not
like picking and choosing to me.
Yeah, and being biased to lots of things.
I'm a justice.
I'll let you have the take though.
It's the Libra in me, my horoscope. I like justice. If someone does something wrong, they should be punished. And if someone does something wrong and that person's punished one way and this person's not punished, I don't understand. My brain breaks and I don't understand how that works. So there you go. Dylan, who wins this deal? Soto, Reagans for Betts, Webb, Clay Holmes. What are you laughing at?
I love the conversation. I honestly do.
I'm just using logic. Like, I'm not trying to defend anybody. I just don't like the inconsistencies of stuff.
I'm all here for it because like there are never any conversations are not allowed to be had anymore because it's just screaming and yelling and people
sure
just.
They can. I'm not screaming or yelling.
You and I could do it. We just not look at the comments. Let me look at this again. Soto, Reagans, Betts, Webb, and Clay Holmes. So here's the game I always play. I do with everybody. Soto and Betts, are they close enough to cross cancel? Yes. I think so. Okay. Reagans and Webb, are they close enough to cross cancel? Or is Reagans? Reagans on the IL right now. Okay, so there you go. And then now, guess what? You're also getting an extra piece in Clay Holmes. So if you're getting that trade, I do think you're trading two high-end players. But if Holmes puts you over the top on the back end, I think that kind of works. It's fair. You are trading away. Perceivably, you could be giving up a tiny bit more value. But what I think you're doing, let's just for a second assume you're trading away the Betts, Webb, and Holmes side. You're trading away that extra piece in Holmes to upgrade off of buying Soto low. And I also think that's okay. So I think this is a relatively even deal. But for all intents and purposes, the cross-canceling game, the home side might get a little bit more depth, especially if it replaces like
one's
some
a little more depth,
pitcher.
One's a little bit more excellence. Reagans and Soto's a little bit more excellence. Upside at this juncture in their careers. And look, buy Juan Soto. I talked about on leading off today. Just buy Juan Soto. Luis Alcantara, possibly related to Sandy. I don't know. Deep head-to-head points league. 5 outfielders, corner, middle, 2 util. I have Harper, Aranda, and Walker. Consider dropping Walker for Hoskins. If it's Jordan Walker we're talking about or Christian Walker?
Well, yeah. I mean,
either way, yes. I'm going to drop him for
There's
Hoskins
another Walker. I don't know if I'm drawing Christian, but Reese hit another homer today. He hit it like 20 minutes ago as we were recording. So, I mean, he's on a thing right now. Yeah. Drop stupid Jordan Walker. But it does look like I feel like he's
Christian Walker.
I think it's Christian because of what he's doing. By the way, look at all these super chats. We got a bunch more super chats in the queue here.
All right.
We're waiting for you.
I will get to them. I'm behind. All right, here's one. Thunderstud. Follow up on the rookie pitcher list. I already own Zeb and Horton dropped last waiver wire. To keep Zeb for 2, Taj Bradley would be next down the list.
So I think he's saying if he wants to keep Zeb, he would have to drop Taj Bradley, which I'm not doing.
If I'm not competing this year, I'm more apt to do it.
I'm even more. I think Taj Bradley's a pretty talented pitcher, so I would rather have Taj. I like the Taj.
I'm still up and down on the Taj. Jeff, would you trade Webb and Rice for Skenes?
Yep.
You know, this is tricky because Skenes is sexy. You know, he's got that mustache. He throws 100 miles an hour. But you know what? Logan Webb is consistent. Logan Webb has been durable. Logan Webb has 30 starts every year under his belt. I think there's something to be said for that. And Rice is a nice bat. Like, probably, yes. But, like, I don't think this is, like, the slam dunk one that you might think. I'm just going to take that angle on this one.
Who is this, Jeff? Jeff, you are Dwayne Wade, and I am LeBron. This is an audio meme, and I am dunking behind, and you got your hands out. Absolutely am I buying in on Paul Skenes while things are down. And just want to also just say how ridiculously stupid we are as a baseball community to just entertain the ideas of Paul Skenes being traded and the people that put out the trades and also it being discussed. I don't know why Passon brought that up. I can't imagine that the Pirates. Oh, there was this whole thing where Jeff Passon said, like, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you know, the Pirates should look at trading Paul Skenes. And then there's been tons of discourse around what would it cost and blah, blah, blah. And then of all things, I mean, Eric Hosmer's kind of back and forth about takes and stuff. He had this great take where he was quote tweeting the whole thing. And he just said, listen, this is why people don't like baseball. Like, you have Jaden Daniels, you have these players that are like generational for their team. They're going to be locked down forever. They're never going to be let go. I mean, look at Brock Purdy getting $200+ million, 180
guaranteed.
Is fair. Yeah, well, but that's part of all of it. But the
Yeah.
greater thing is like you see great players and the teams look to lock them down forever. Baseball has a version of that, but what's the first thing we start to think about? Oh, the Pirates kind of stink. They're a ways away. Let's trade Paul Skenes, who would be
my
the
favorite
face
thing
of the
in Major
organization.
League Baseball is you can't have a salary cap in Major League Baseball. To which I say, why? Because every other sport has one.
No, you can, but you can't because you set the precedent where there isn't one, and making that change.
That is the dumbest. Again, here we go back to the logic argument. That's the dumbest logic I've ever heard.
Well, but I'm talking about like in reality.
You can't have. It's like you can't have a dog. Why? Because we haven't had a dog.
No. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. But what I'm telling you
crazy.
is the precedent has been set that there isn't one. So now it's kind of like the you're guilty until proven innocent. You now have to prove why. And if you don't have 100% lock in on why this should happen, it'll never happen. It's like the getting rid of what is it, federal tax and no one paying any tax type of stuff.
No,
you know how hard that is to like make it go through. Like the players union will never ever allow it.
Yeah, but that's what they said in the NFL until they did. Because there wasn't
the 90s and the 80s, the salary cap?
Late 80s, early 90s.
No, there's too much money to be had.
Yes, and I'll tell you when it was. It was the early 90s, and I'll tell you when, because the 49ers were the team that benefited the most because their owner was paying guys under the table, and that's how they got all those rings, and good for them. Good for them, I say, because he was willing to do it. And you know what? They said, well, we can't have this happen because he's just willing to outspend everybody, and that's not going to make the league any good over the long term. And the funny thing about the NFL, for all the greed in the NFL, it did take a bunch of unselfish owners who realized that they could make more money over time if they just bit the bullet for a little while. And guess what? They did. And now it's monstrous.
I'll make this bet.
I don't know if baseball can survive forever without a salary cap. Eventually it has to come through.
In your lifetime?
Yeah, we'll see it.
We will never see it.
I'm going to live forever.
You will not be alive for a baseball.
All the time. I'm eating very healthy
great.
Nowadays.
Yeah, Elon can create all the. You will not be alive when there is an MLB salary cap. There's no chance the MLB Players Union would ever accept their players to take less money for the greater good. They care about the players only, not even the sport, nothing else. It will never happen.
Oh, it'll happen.
I think it should. It will never happen.
It'll happen in the next 10 years. It'll happen.
Oh, I mean, God willing, you and I are still here at Fantasy Pros together.
I like my grandmother. Let's go to Sean's question. We picking up Will Warren. Last 3 games look good. Yeah, I can't believe he's still on the waiver wire. We were talking about him 2 weeks ago on Leading Off, which you should be watching, by the way, on Twitch, Monday through Friday, live, right here on Fantasy Pros MLB Twitch.
So happy.
You go to twitch.tv/fantasypros. That's where you can watch us every single Monday through Friday, noon Eastern. Be part of the show. We love having everybody over there with us. Let's get to another question.
That's the look of the salary cap happening in MLB. That your face, you're like, yes, and I'm like, oh, salary cap.
It's the same thing with baseball. It's like kicking and screaming. We don't want the rules changes because the old guard dies. And you know what's left? New. And it changes. And baseball will change too. It's going to be dragged kicking and screaming because it's like MLB TV. Everything is always just kicking and screaming with baseball, and then the extended playoffs. Oh, everything. It's always kicking and screaming, and we're gonna kick and scream all the way to a salary cap someday too, because you have to.
I wish I would.
Willson Contreras or William Contreras. Finally, the question to end all questions.
Which Contreras?
Which brother?
William.
Is there a third Contreras? What was he?
The Molinas.
Yachty
or Benji, and
there's another Contreras. Remember the pitcher for the Yankees, Jose Contreras. Remember him?
Contreras? Yeah, I think he still pops around the White Sox. Somewhere. I don't think they're related. But
I know they're not related, but I'm just saying another Contreras. Here you go. Mawag just wants to stash somebody. John,
just give me somebody like Julio Urias, John Means. Bauer, just give me somebody.
I just want to stash somebody. Mawag, listen, just Bo Jackson. I just stash Bo Jackson.
Oh my God, Rich Hill. How about that? 45-year-old Rich Hill. Do that.
Stash Jose Alvarado. You know he'll be back in 80 games. Go stash him.
Alvarado.
Logan LeMay, Seager for Acuna. Good deal.
If you're
getting Acuna,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good for that one. Is Semien a drop from Owen? Owen, this one is really about what's available. Like if you're dropping Semien, it's got to be for somebody it's got to be a shallow league, and I can't explain where we're at with Semien and where this decline is hit, and it's hit so hard and it's been such a consistent one. I don't know what to say about it anymore, except it can't be this bad all year. But maybe this is it. Maybe Semien's just hit this weird wall in his career where he's in decline and it's just horrendous.
I could explain it, but I might lose my job, so I'm not gonna explain it in those words. But I don't know. We're 2 months in.
It's under Max 2 Velo conversation.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of words
I thought
that we
you
don't
guys
use
did a
on
film
here.
together.
No, not at all. He's hitting under 200.
This is why you have to watch Leading Off, because on today we realized that Welsh's adult film star name is Max Velo. And
hello,
perhaps
ladies.
You excuse me, I was just moving this L screen. Sorry.
Max Velo in the house. Let me show you my barrel rate. All right.
Yeah, like every time you walk in on him, he's taping a bat very sensually.
Now we've gone too far. Listen, I still am like in the same space, but how long can you be in this space? Like he's barreling the ball more. He's hitting the ball. Essentially, if you were to blindly not see his stats, there's only one thing that there's more of, and that's strikeouts. Otherwise, he is at the level or a little bit above most of his underlying stats. But he's underperforming against fastballs, which I just don't think long-term is super sticky. I think he will bounce back. But you know what? He might be a 230 hitter this year. So what are you waiting for? You might get a really big Semien month, but he's probably going to come back down to earth. In 10-team leagues, Semien can probably go. It's pretty easy. But I'm super stubborn. I'm still holding him in our 10-team
no, stop.
I am.
Drop him. Here to go. Ryan wants to stash somebody. Brandon Woodruff. Yes. He is worth stashing.
He has not been suspended, so yes.
All right, so NFL's first salary cap, I was right, 1994. $34.6 million. That's like an at bat for Juan Soto.
I mean, that's the type of salary cap that ESPN would offer baseball to put out there. Unfortunately, it's a multi-billion-dollar, and it's like these rosters are going over 200 million. You would have to set a cap in the 200 million range. And it's just teams don't want to spend money. Teams don't want to be capped out. But here's also here's, I guess, maybe the workaround where I could be wrong is that they keep allowing all this nonsensical like deferment of payments. And I signed you to a $700 million deal, but 690 million of it's going to be paid, after you retire. If those are allowed, then the salary cap doesn't matter because that's pure manipulation. But it's just not going to work and they're not going to accept it.
All right, let's get to, a lot of Semien stuff in here, so hopefully we answered that question here. Let's go to El Diablo. Time to sell or hold Austin Hayes and Andy Pajes. The thing I don't like is that Pajes was out of the lineup for Kim the other day, so that's not a great sign. I would say sell both. If you could turn both of them into... Could you turn both of them into Brian Reynolds right now?
Maybe if somebody is like really struggling with let's say they're like fifth outfielder, that's a possibility.
Yeah,
I would do it.
I would do it. As somebody that's been there, done that before, and just go ahead. Here's a great one from Thomas. Do we believe in Wilmer Flores? I would have said no a month ago. I would have said no last year. I don't know. At what point am I wrong here about Wilmer Flores? Because he's hitting 259. He's got 10 homers. He's got 42 RBI already. He's on pace for 150 RBI, which is probably ludicrous. That's not happening, but still, like you gotta respect what he's done so far this season. He is 33 years old. I don't think I'm buying it. If you could turn, who would you rather have rest of season, Wilmer Flores or Christian Walker?
See, this is where I'm dumb. Like, I would just say Christian Walker still.
I don't think you're dumb. I say the same thing.
I think that when you ask the question of Wilmer Flores, it's loaded because is he for real? Like, kind of like these are things that he does. Could he hit 20 homers? Yeah. Could he have 90 RBI? He's pacing out to that. Score runs. Can he hit 260? He can do all these things. And guess what? That's a serviceable corner infielder, maybe even a 15-team first baseman. Maybe. But I think the best has happened and we'll have some cool down period. And I think Christian Walker, the best is yet to come. So that's why, I guess I would side there, but boy, that might look silly at the end of the year.
I'm with you. I'll take the track record. By the way, you want to take a guess the career high total for Wilmer Flores RBI in a season?
I think he had a big one. I want to say, 85?
71.
Okay. So I think I might have done this exact same thing with Bogman and said like 85.
151 games, 71 RBI. Michael's back with another super chat. Is having Weathers, Max Meyer, and Eury too much Marlins? Probably, but those are the three that I want. And the only good thing is you got to go 2-start week from somebody every week. So that I like.
Well, you hope. So
it's fair. Although the 2-start week from Sandy, I don't know if I want that right now. Not sure how I feel about that one. All right, let's get to some more. Angel Hernandez has entered the chat, finally. Surprised he could find the damn thing. Who's worth stashing more, Luis Heel or you, Darvish? It's all about stashes today. We're just stashing, guys.
Just stashing, yeah, just holding it and hoping. Guys. Just holding it and hoping, man.
I'm going to say Heel. That's where I'm going to go.
I think the only problem with Heel is it's still like at least a month away. Darvish
is your age, and I think I'm over it. I think I'm done.
Yeah, I think I'm older than Darvish.
Taking the kid.
I'm definitely older than Darvish. He has some weird mystery-ish thing where he didn't pitch for like 10 days and they're not really talking about it. And I don't know. Okay, how about this? How about you pick up Darvish right now and you wait 2 weeks until you even consider Heel? Because Heel's not even he's barely doing anything. He's what, 4 weeks, 6 weeks away or at least. So maybe start with Darvish, see what it looks like, and then go to Heel.
That's fair. That's fair. Trade Burger for Abbott from Otis the Dumpling.
You need pitching. I'd rather have Burger, though.
I'd rather have Burger, too. He's my home run call tonight. Let's go, Burger.
What's the last burger you had? What kind of burger? What's your favorite burger?
Well, I've had to stop eating the red meat this year. So it was part of my new dietary thing, which I got to say. So the last burger that I had, we had Five Guys a couple weeks ago, and that was the first red meat that I'd had since February.
Did you ask for a raise from Fantasy Pros after that?
No.
Just to pay for it?
No, for the Five Guys.
That was an expensive Five Guys joke.
I'm still
that's all
eating
that
the French fries 3 weeks later.
All right,
that is an amazing thing, though. Like that's literally their gimmick, and it works. It's like Kohl's Cash. You know, it's like their gimmick is, oh, you just spent some money here? Well, next week, why don't you come back and spend $20 more? And if you're back, you're probably going to spend a little bit more.
I've never been. So
you've never been to Kohl's?
No, I've been to Kohl's. I've never been to Five Guys.
Well, I don't know. In Arizona, you never know. We live in different regions.
Kohl's right down the street, of course. Kohl's Cash.
You've never been to a Five Guys?
Never. They just built one right over here too. It's
fine. It's good. It's not the greatest. You know
what they just built? A Shake Shack next to the Five Guys over here.
Now that is completely overrated.
Oh, really?
Have you had Shake Shack?
I've never had Shake Shack.
Completely overrated. You'll see.
Okay.
Milkshakes are pretty good. It is completely.
Do they bring all the boys to the yard?
No, it's better than yours. The Shake Shack, why people would line up outside in Manhattan in freezing cold weather for Shake Shack was beyond me. It is not special. It's greasy. It's not great. The milkshakes are okay. Five Guys over that. So Five Guys, what they do is you order like a regular fries and they scoop up and they fill your regular fries. And then they basically just keep scooping. And they just kind of throw them in the bag. So by you end up with like 3 large fries by the time you order one regular. It's absurd. It's hilarious. But the problem is you got to eat them there. Five Guys doesn't travel well. So if you're going to go eat at Five Guys, just eat there. And I know you're not a big meat guy.
Now you know. Everybody knows.
When's the last time you had a burger?
Well, veg burgers and black bean burgers and stuff like that are pretty good.
Burger.
So
that's not a burger.
Oh, wow.
Louis,
are we still on this question?
Zebby or Will Warren rest of season? I'll tell you what, it's Will Warren for me.
I'll go Will Warren too, actually.
Will Warren. Let's go.
For the win.
Let's Warren it up. Let's go to another super chat from, Agbang Magia fan. Right?
Isn't that a Rockets player? OG Bong Baminga fan?
Obi Bamjaminga. I have Terang, Glaber, Marte, and Shaw. Which should I look to package with Hap, and which starting pitchers should I target? It's interesting. Well, I don't want to get rid of Ketel Marte. Bryce Terang, I'm not a big Terang guy.
I'd get rid of Terang and Hap and see what, I mean, who do you stack? I don't know who you can go and get for that. I don't know who's dying to, like, Marte and Hap could get you something elite. None of those guys else with elite. None of those other guys with Hap can get you something in the top 15 to 20 SP market. So sorry. So I'm not packaging Marte unless someone's overpaying. Terang and Hap would be who I'm looking to, put out there. I maybe Gallen, if you think maybe he can bounce back, it's
Bubic?
probably not.
Take Bubic?
I think Hap for the Bubba is an even trade in itself.
Right.
And I'd be comfortable with that.
I hope that it keeps going. What about, could you get move both those guys and get Carlos Rodon?
Maybe you could try.
I was impatient with Rodon in our Fantasy Pros League. He was driving me crazy in the beginning of the year, and I dropped him, and I regret it. But I got no time for nonsense, Carlos. Fantasy Sports, drop one, Rosarena, Pahis, or Ward. Well, Ward's hitting 200, but it's got more. The power's been there. That's the tricky thing about Ward. It's Pahis or Ward. I'm not dropping a Rosarena.
I was thinking Pahis.
Yeah, Pahis.
Honestly, Ward's average really stinks, but like we actually talk about it in the waiver wire video, which should be coming out tomorrow as people listen to this live. Kind of talk about why there might be some pickup ability of Taylor Ward.
So I guess Bamija was a professional football player. So
I thought he was one of the Warriors. Isn't there a Warriors player that's like that?
No, he played for this is why Seth is such a great producer. He played for the Chargers and the Bears.
Was that guy? Was that him?
I don't think so.
Or is that one of those fun accounts?
Fan of them.
Yeah,
like,
where there's you like random people.
Fan.
Who is your did we do this before? Who's your favorite random baseball player growing up? Like, how like you love stars, of course, but like the weird random, because I have mine. The weird random guy that like makes no sense, but you love.
Who was yours?
David DeLucci. When he was a Yankee, but he went to the Diamondbacks. He was part of like the baby back core in the like early 2000s, right after the World Series stuff. I loved David DeLucci. He was like my favorite player.
That's really interesting. I was a big baseball card kid too, so there was always like those guys who were like the baseball cards. I was like excited.
Yeah, for whatever reason, you find like this weird random guy. Everybody has one. Except for you,
I gotta think about that. That's a good question. Drop yours in the chat.
Yeah, we're seeing some in the chat right
baseball player for no reason. Owen Stott or Kristian Campbell still worth rostering?
Say it again. It's a different question on here.
Kristian Campbell still worth rostering. I think it depends on the size of the league. If you're in a 10-team league, no. 12-team league, depends on what's on the waiver wire. But my patience is growing thin. I don't want to get rid of them, but it's getting
I kind of
tricky.
don't either. But I think all of this this changing and stuff makes me a little bit interested. So I'm not sure that I want to cut bait really anywhere. But 10-team, you kind of can. By the way, Seth said Scott Spezio was his. Our producer Seth. Spees
here's a good one from Sean. Tony Womack Jr., Spivey, and Travis Lee.
Yeah, those were, good. Those are some of those Diamondback. Travis Lee was great. Spivey was in that Richie Sexton trade. Yeah, these are some good ones.
There's a Didi Gregorius. Yes, Didi. That's a good one right there.
I loved Didi. By the way, Hardy's got it right. I was thinking of Jonathan Kuminga on the Warriors with that baseball player we were talking about.
You're way off there.
Well, no, I think I'm in the same general vicinity.
All right. If you need some extra help too with random baseball players on your team, you should look into My Playbook. My Playbook is the most perfect suite of tools to help you manage all of your teams, make better decisions, and you can set all your lineups from one spot to win your leagues. Customize fantasy baseball news, rankings, and analysis today with fantasypros.com/MLB My Playbook, or download the Fantasy Baseball My Playbook app. I don't know why I'm blanking on this question too, because like
this is like you. This question was built for you.
It's like, I think the thing that happens when all of it floods to your brain at the same time and it gets like log jammed. I think I'm in a
like Craig Counsell was another good one. Juan Pierre. But even Juan Pierre is a little too popular. Like Seth said, David Eckstein. That's still a little too high. I'm talking like weird, random
crappy players.
Crappy player like David DeLucci. I loved that guy.
Yeah,
you got to have some stupid Met, some dumb Met.
Yeah, well, that's a problem. Is like there's so much pain attached to the Mets post 1986 for me that it's hard to find the joy, because those were miserable teams in my childhood. Like that was the Eddie Murray, Vince Coleman shooting people with bleach with the water gun era. That was the worst team money could buy. Bobby Bonilla. So I literally hated all of them. Like that was the problem. Like
then maybe it wasn't
miserable.
around the
Tommy
league.
Hurt.
You know, fantasy baseball could have driven it. Like, here's some other good ones. Hardy said Aaron Miles. That's a great one. AJM said Franklin Gutierrez, Paul Bird, Bob Wickman. Victor Martinez was a little too good, but there's got to be some guy. Like, I have some
way too good for this conversation.
I have some loves from like my very first years of playing fantasy baseball and stuff. But DeLucci stands out as just the weird love of a player. But it'll come to you.
Well, I'm one of those kids too. Like I said, the baseball cards were a big one. So like 86 and 87 is when like that exploded for me. So yeah, see, like the problem is like there's guys like Will Clark. He's too good of a player. Like I loved Will, like just random guys that weren't even on my own team. I'm looking through right now to see if I can find somebody for like the 87 top. Hubie Brooks always made me smile. I don't know why.
That seems like a random one. I don't even know who that is.
You don't know who Hubie Brooks is?
It's not ringing a bell.
Hey, Hubie Brooks was traded for. That's how the Mets got Gary Carter.
The Hubie Brooks in the news?
Yeah. Trying to think of who else there. Lance Johnson. Does that count? That's a fun one.
Sure.
Remember Lance Johnson? He was a little speedy guy.
Your weird player gets to count for whoever it is.
Oil Can Boyd. There you go. Mike's from my era. Oil Can. What an oil can that guy was. Yikes. The Jeff Suppan also on there. That's another good one.
He was a dime back for a little bit.
There you go. Kevin McReynolds, late 80s. So Michael is a loser Mets fan like me. So there you go. Joe Creedy. That's another good one there.
Oh, you old people. Joe Creedy's a good one.
Yeah, that's some good ones there. All right, let's get to some more of your questions here. Let's see who's next in the chat. Start question. Who's better, Liam Hicks or Agustin Ramirez?
Dude, I mean, Uncle Ted is just on. He just wants engagement, because I've seen you do this, Ted, like 3 different shows we've done where he goes, Liam Hicks is better than Agustin Ramirez. Liam Hicks is okay. He was a Rangers farmhand. He played in the AFL last year, or maybe it was the year before, but he was in the AFL recently. Makes some decent contact. But if we're talking about high upside impact, I think Liam Hicks is a better catcher, the defensive catcher. But if we're talking about like high upside fantasy value, it's not to me, it's not a question. It's Agustin Ramirez. He is better. The underlying profile looks great. He's striking out. The biggest thing with him, striking out less than 20% of the time. That was one of his biggest worries. He has, through all out the minor leagues into the majors now, been a big hard hit guy, 92.6 average exit velocity. His XBA is 30 points higher than he is. It is Agustin Ramirez, but like if you want like all around real life stuff, I can get why you would like him. So yeah, and that's where he's saying one is a catcher. What's that?
You know who Pat Tabler is? Remember Pat Tabler?
No.
Yeah, see, like we're in like a different age cutoff.
Yeah, I wasn't like,
yeah,
I wasn't even 10 in the 80s. So
I know, but that's like
very young, Joe. I mean, I know you're an older guy here. I'm
you're
very
just
young.
Out of high school. Me, I'm going for colonoscopies.
Our sales guy, by the way, in our trip, I think I've said this before, but our sales guy thought I was like 10 years younger than I am, and it was quite the compliment when I told him how old. Because he's like, I don't think this is of your age, Jimmy did, and I was just like, buddy, I'm over 40. And he's like, oh my God, I thought you were in your 30s. And I'm like, well, I know it's my girlish face and not because of my demeanor and how I act. Clearly, that's why I'm younger.
Clearly. TK wants a cup 8 with Luis Robert. You want to do that?
10 team, I think if you want to, you can. He even openly said, they asked him about the trade market, and he said, with the way I'm playing right now, no one's going to have interest in me. I think he's going to turn it around. This is one of the, unfortunately, dude, there's a handful of these guys where it's like Sandy Alcantara, Marcus Semien, Luis Robert. It's hard to move away from players like that. I don't want to cut bait if I can.
Seth just went from good producer to great producer because he just spurned one in my brain. So he said, Lucas Duda, Joe? And I said, no, I hate Lucas Duda, but I did like Ike Davis. Remember Ike Davis?
Oh, yeah, ASU. He went to ASU. Ike Davis was a ASU first baseman,
and
100%.
Remember Jacobs, too. Oh, what's his name?
Mike Jacobs.
Mike Jacobs. Remember, he had
He's a coach. He was a coach in the AFL 2 years ago.
Yeah, remember those randos?
Yeah,
Ike
absolutely.
Davis, that was one.
It's a great one.
Yeah, this is fun. This is what guys do. They get in our YouTube chat and they just
talk about dudes that we used to like. We don't even need to answer questions anymore. We'll just do a stream.
Ike Davis was a good defender too. He's a really good player.
Dude, he was a phenomenal college player, big time ASU bat. I mean, I live here in Arizona, so I followed him. I thought Ike was going to be like the real deal.
You know what we should do next week? Players you hated. Because there's so many, idea. Like, I know who my least favorite player of all time is, but we could do like more of them. But as a child, I hated George Foster so much that in the Mets yearbook, really? I actually etched his face out And that I was so angry. Like I hated him so much. He was just such a miserable person on the Mets. It's just misery. But probably George Foster, my all-time least favorite Met, would be
Okay.
out there.
I'll
So
have to
next
think
week,
about that. Yeah.
least favorite baseball players, like John Franco. If John Franco was here, I'd throw a right hook at him.
I don't know if
can't.
I've got a lot of like
Oh,
big hit because the guys that people usually hate,
so
like
many.
Bogman hates Manny Machado. I love him. I love Manny Machado because he
I
has
can
like some of
understand
the
hating
weird
Manny
dirty
Machado.
stuff. Yeah, no, I totally
don't,
get
but
it.
I can understand why.
Yeah, I didn't. I like Manny Machado.
Yeah. But next
Good
week,
friend.
players you hate. That'll be the theme of the show. Let's go with let's see. What do we have next here? Ramirez or Herrera? That's the question here from Reese.
Herrera. I was about to say, let's get some first names in here, but this is clearly catcher.
Herrera.
Ivan, I hate to think of his first name. Ivan Herrera looks so elite right now. He looks at the levels of being a top 3 catcher in baseball. He's healthy. It is not a question. Ivan Herrera is going to be almost over anybody. Legit, as much as you don't want to give up on a guy like Adley Rutschman, but Herrera at this point looks like one of the top closers in baseball. So it's him.
All right. This is demanded by the people, so I'm going to do it. Even though I did it on the Today Show, Asia Parker Bernstein. Joe, let's hear your thoughts on Soto's struggles. Fellow Mets fan here. Asia, here's my thoughts. It's not a big deal. He's not struggling that bad. He is not hitting 200. This is a very emotional Yankee series that did not go the Mets' way. Everything has broken the Mets' way to start the year. They have one of the best records in baseball with the pitching staff of a bunch of no-name guys. Soto will be fine. He's had a bad stretch here. He's pressing a little bit. He's going to get red hot at some point. I have zero concerns about Juan Soto. I don't care about this hustle and this and that. This is fodder for stupid, rage-baiting New York sports talk radio hosts that scream into microphones for 4 hours and then take calls from people who couldn't throw a baseball across the diamond to save their life and somehow think that they know anything about a game. All right? Welsh is a pretty good baseball player. I played some baseball with him. I once upon a time played baseball at a pretty high level. Let me tell you something. I am not concerned about Juan Soto at all. He's a generational talent. Just because he didn't perform up to snuff against the Yankees, they'll get another series against the Yankees coming up in a few weeks. And when they do, it might be a little bit different when they're at home. And the fan base should not and will not turn on him. I don't see that happening at all. That's my.
Did you say
thoughts.
I was a good baseball player? Did you throw that?
Yeah,
in?
You could swing the bat a little bit. You weren't so bad. You're pretty good.
Oh, okay.
You're pretty good.
I'm
for a man of your youth. I was just saying.
I am pretty good. By the way,
no, but Welsh is pretty good there.
Me and my best friend.
Yeah, you and Manny Machado.
See, we're best friends. Look at this. He's so happy to be with you. He's like, oh my gosh, Welsh.
He's very happy in that. Actually, I've never seen him smile so big before.
Look at that. I mean, he is legit.
Well, you know what? He thought he was giving an autograph. He thought he was getting a picture with a kid. That's why.
Well, he did.
He's like, all right, son.
Yeah.
Can I call you son?
Yeah, he's like, hey there, buddy. Hey there, little guy.
No, Welsh hit some balls out here. He beat me in the home run derby. I, of course, hurt myself in the home run derby because I'm old now. But I still got the exit velo. Welsh will tell you. I can still hit a ball.
By the way, Manny was so happy because a friend of mine was there and went up to Manny and said, you've won me so many fantasy championships. I feel like I owe you money. And then Manny looked at him and said, all right, where is it? And then we all sat there and laughed. And Manny was waiting for the money. He's a very funny guy.
Yeah, Manny Machado. No one owes Manny Machado money. Thunderstud, Mullins or Pajes, 16-team Dynasty?
Ooh, Dynasty. I would go with Pajes. Yeah.
Yeah. Sal Frelick or Cam Smith? Cam
is bouncing back. I agree with you.
Yeah, things are popping. Nobody knows if Christian Walker's going to turn it around crypto. I'm just, nobody knows that. Like, we just
hope so. Think so.
What do you do with Yelich and McClain? Look, we already talked about Yelich. McClain, you're just holding right now and just hoping for the best.
Yeah, you have to have like viable
stats
options
at the end of the year. McClain or Kristian Campbell?
Say it again. McClain or Kristian Campbell?
Who do you think has better stats at the end of the year?
Like 5x5, like who has
5x5 counting stats. Because I think they're similar profile players right now. In a lot of ways.
Yeah, well, you know what's really tough about that is like McClain might win 3 of the 5 categories, but I think be less valuable than Campbell. I'm going to say Campbell, but I don't feel confident about that because of the direction that Campbell's going. But I do think he's going to kind of bounce back, and the strikeout rate's really concerning with
Anthony wants
McClain.
to know Knicks in 5. I say Knicks in 6. And I'm not a Knicks fan, but I did actually watch a couple basketball games for the first time in a while. I used to be a huge NBA fan when I was in my youth. I mean, huge. Basketball is not the same game for me anymore. It's just not.
It's where I started with ITL was basketball. You know what's really interesting? We've had interactions with like football players, that are interested in fantasy football and stuff. We've had baseball players that really love betting on not baseball sports and love fantasy football. Never come across like a basketball player that's like, oh my gosh, I love
that, because just on MLB Network, I think just last night they did a special with an ex-NBA player where him and Vasgersian were just talking baseball, and then King.
Oh, they were talking about that. Okay, see, I think that would be
like a whole show with an ex-NBA guy.
But I want like a basketball. I want like an NBA player to like slide into the DMs like the baseball guys do, and just be like, "Hey, who would you draft?" The baseball guys
are football fanatics.
They're crazy. Yeah.
Jeff Snook, better pick up Will Warren or Logan Henderson. Ooh, that's interesting here. Warren's been very good. The Yankees are very good. I probably lean towards Will Warren here. He's been around a little bit longer.
I'm going to go with you on that. I think it's pretty close, but I'm going to go with Will Warren.
It is close, but I'm just going to go with the guy who's just a little bit like further ahead in his career, Robert Catania. Come on, Welsh, please give me your final line on Ben Rice.
Yeah, I saw Robert. I don't control the questions in here, Robert. Robert said earlier he was like, as one of only two of us that still believe in Ben Rice. He had like a 260 line on him, 30 homers. I think that's about the general space of it. I think we're going to get back into another run. I'm going to go like 255, 27 homers. He can maybe move at the top of the line. I don't know where his run and RBI are right now, somewhere between like the 70s and 80s each. And yeah, that's where I think he's going to go.
There you go. Retro Gaming bringing up Evan Roberts. And these are all the local New York sports radio guys.
I was about to say, who's Evan Roberts? So
I don't listen to any of that stuff anymore. And but my youth, I was, probably why I do this is because every day I used to listen to Mike and the Mad Dog when I do my homework before I could go outside and play. But literally, I can guarantee you this is every conversation on WFAN right now in New York City. I wanted Juan Soto here more than anybody. But, if we're going to pay you $700 million, at least you could do is run down to first base and show a little hustle. Is that too much to ask? Did we not pay for hustle on top of that? You don't want to go to the Yankees. You seem like you're moping, when we go to the Bronx and maybe, the emotions getting the best of you. But, you're the guy now. Maybe you're not the guy. Maybe Aaron Judge is the guy.
You know what, Joe? If they want to pay $700 million, they should send him over to the Yankees. The Yankees are the team for the $700 million.
If you don't want to be the guy, you should have stayed behind Aaron Judge. He's pretty tall. He makes a big shadow.
You know who hustles? Pete Alonso. He's kind of
Pete Alonso can't throw a ball from first base to catcher, but he hustles. He hustles out there. Huh?
You think Juan Soto likes me?
That's what you're hearing for 3 hours. I hope you enjoy that, everybody. What's better, that or my Mad Dog Russo impression?
Your Mad Dog is absolutely elite.
It's elite. It is elite.
It's elite.
Is there any value in picking up Robert Hassel? Very little in deeper leagues, because I think he will play. I don't think you're bringing him up to sit. Like, he's going to get a good, I think 10-day look here. But again, he's limited in power. Like, he's not a big power guy necessarily, but he has been hitting the ball well. Maybe he gets a good week or so.
He used to be this because he used to be a Padre, and I saw him. I've seen him so much because he was a Padre, and then he played 3 years in the AFL and just been around him a ton. Really good defender. He can run some. He changed his approach from being this guy that's trying to just murder ball everything, get hit these big homers, to just being this like across the body, more contact hitter, and it's getting him to the majors. That's why he's there. I do think there's a little bit of like the Nationals want to see what they have out of him. He might be expendable long term. If deeper leagues, if you have some outfield struggles, he'd be worth it. We'll see if how long he's here and what his actual value is worth, but I wouldn't cut anybody a value.
It's good to see Cody in the chat. There you go. Let's get Asia's question in there too, because she had like
Asa.
a fake question.
I think it's Asa.
Is it Asa? Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, there's no I in there.
But I've seen it Asia also pronounced. So
okay, Asa, let us know. Are you Asia or Asa? Asa Parker.
Asa or Asa. Maybe it's Asa. I don't know. Need a third baseman replacement.
Actually, Asa Lacey. It might be Asa. Asa Lacey.
It could be Asa. We could be completely wrong anyway. Parker Bernstein. Need third baseman replacement. Josh Young, Berger, Meredith, Cam Smith. Rest of the season, what do you want?
Dang. It is Asa. Isa? I would go with... I'm just trying to... Asa. No, it is Asa. It is Asa. Like Asa Lacey. Sorry. I'll go with Berger, and he's probably the worst of all of them right now. But I think
I apologize if we butchered your name.
No, it's
currency.
Asa. It is now. It's like Asa Lacy. Royals
like
prospect
Lacy.
will never.
Van Rod is right, by the way. She's 100% right. 92 watching, only 15 likes. Like the video right now. What are you doing? Like the video. You're hanging out here. It takes 2 seconds. Click on the big thumb up here. Let's get Bill's question here. 10-team NL League that just started this year with saves plus holds the category for scoring. How fast do you give up on guys like Halverson for someone like Nick Mears? Welsh, this is an interesting one here. This is like granular NL only league stuff.
Well, one of my big things is not caring about Rockies relievers whatsoever. So I would be pretty quick to it. Respect that it is a NL only league and there's only so much, but not so much. On the
I know where you
Rockies
were going with that when you opened up that phrase there, Max Velo. One of my big things is that Robert Clark.
One of my big things.
Yeah, there's Welsh, there's Max Velo. Getting loose with the weight on the bat, shirtless, but he's got the baseball pants with the belt on. That's a good look for you. You should.
I will say one thing we are thinking about doing is we have some very bad video we did of our home run derby. That it might get cut up and we might release it. And you kind of ruined it, by the way, but we release it around the home run derby. But Joe and I both do have 2 epic bat flips. To the point where it'll be worth voting on which bat flip you like better.
Maybe it ends up just being that.
Different angles. It's pretty great.
All right, last question here. Hold Kurtz at first base in Dynasty or drop for Hoskins?
Oh, baby. You can't do anything with Kurtz in Dynasty. I know he's struggling. You're not cutting.
Pick up Hoskins and drop somebody else and bench Kurtz if you're worried about him. But Kurtz's oppo home run yesterday was encouraging. When guys are hitting balls hard the opposite field, and walking, like those are the things. When a guy's struggling, you look for 2 things. Number 1, is he walking? If he starts to walk more, then he's getting the strike zone recognition better. That's what you're looking for. And then the next thing is, are they driving the ball the opposite field well? Because if so, then they're hitting the ball where it's pitched and they're seeing the ball well, and all of that starts to come to fruition. So those are the signs of a guy breaking out. Same thing, like you should watch Marcus Semien at bats. If you have Semien, and watch, is he doing these things? He ain't walking. We know that. Striking out a ton. That's for sure. I know one thing for sure. There, Welshy. He's striking out a ton. He's striking out so much. It's unbelievable how much he's striking out right now. Marcus Semien is striking out like 5,000 times. How many times are you going to strike out there?
You need to get the Russo wig. Yeah, like of all the wigs we've purchased
Crazy.
And stuff, you need a Russo wig.
Michael, what are you doing, Michael? Our producer Seth here. He's telling me about Marcus Semien. Marcus Semien can't hit water in front of the boat.
Oh, Fabi has a really good point. Can we get some fantasy baseball in the night to close out the show? We should close out the show with fantasy baseball in the night.
It feels like that. And next Wednesday, players you hate. All-time hate. We'll do that one. That'll be fun.
Hate, all right. Hate. So,
Seth, do we have the leading off song to end the show today? Can we do that?
Yeah, I don't know if Seth knows where it is, but it is the leading off. No, you know where it is. He's been running the show.
He knows where things are. So why don't we do this? We'll play the song and then let the song just take us out. So we'll say goodbye to you here. Enjoy the song, everybody. Drop your comments, like the stream on the way out. And of course, don't forget, if you like the stream, you can win the Jose Ramirez jersey. That's important. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on for the Welsh. I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.
Joey P, man, with stats and hands, filling numbers like grains of sand. Fantasy talking about diamond dreams, chasing players, whispering their schemes. Oh, Welsh, breaking it down real slow, voices howling in the radio's glow. Talking monsters on the baseball field, wizards swinging bats and magic shields. Fantasy baseball in the night.